Hey, welcome back to another episode of Instant Ramen Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and with me today, substituting for Juan, is Sierra. Sierra, how are you?
I'm doing great, and you said tooting.
Oh, shit, I did. I did. So, the whole reason that Sierra's here is because we're going to be reviewing a Netflix show called Hero Mask. Juan wasn't able to watch it on account of a ton of school going on. And yeah, Sierra decided, you know what, I don't have anything going on this weekend, so I'll watch a whole lot of the show, and then we'll be good to go. So yeah, essentially, we're gonna talk about that. But since you haven't been on the show in a long time, what's new in your life, Sierra?
Well, let's see. I was telling you, was it yesterday, that I completed the storyline aspect of Harvest Moon Light of Hope. So I finished that puppy, and now I just get to fuck around and finish upgrading all my stuff to the max, and then that's pretty much it. And
that's fun. That's chill.
Yeah. And then at work, I'm going to be taking my QAL exam.
Okay, what's QAL?
Stands for Qualified Applicator's License. So I'll be able to apply restricted use pesticides all I want.
Look at you. What do you do with that?
So kind of like, you know how like you can just go to like Home Depot and like buy like a little bottle of like spray Roundup and stuff like that.
Right.
So there's basically like anything that you can buy at like the grocery store or like whatever, a home improvement store. There's like bigger and better versions that you can apply like agriculturally. There's like the ibuprofen shit that you can buy at like Home Depot. And then like the stuff that we like to apply is like the Vicodin shit. So.
Okay. All right.
So I'll be able to apply pesticides that regular everyday people cannot purchase or legally apply.
Okay, and why are people not allowed to have it specifically? Like what? I mean, it might be a stupid question that I feel like I already know the answer to, but you're essentially just applying it to the trees and stuff in the fields because other people aren't going to be around it, so it won't affect any people.
Yeah.
But it could still affect like wildlife and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's different, what we call, like, modes of action. So, a lot of, like, the, like, when we spray stuff, we usually do spot spraying. So, it's not over, like, the entire field. And it's not like how they, like, grow rice where they helicopter it over the entire field.
Right.
And other, like, herbicides and fungicides and stuff like that we apply, we mostly send those through our water drip system. Okay. And so then it literally only gets applied like right next to the tree as opposed to like the whole field.
Gotcha.
So it's just like a little small area and then it just penetrates down into the soil.
Neat. Cool. Fun.
So yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have a blast with that.
Yeah, I get to take a test and get my license, and then I can spray a bunch of shit on the fields.
I just got my driver's license renewed, and I look super round in my photo. Like, my face is just like a big old circle, which is weird considering, like, I don't feel like I have a circle face, but I guess on that particular day, I was feeling extra over it. My eye, I look like fucking stoned in my picture.
Were you rolling your eyes in the photo?
No, I was trying to smile, but I was tired as fuck and just over the day already. And yeah, no, it turns out that I look fucking out of it. I just look zonked. It's weird.
Oh, I know. I saw it on the coffee table.
That's my
old
one.
Well, yeah. I was like, oh, look, it's a baby Trip. Did you take a new photo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Because I heard that they were making people take new photos. Like, because before you used to be able to just, like, renew it and only go in and change your photo if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I think you have to. But, yeah, I'm a big old round boy. But it looks a little bit more like me as current Chris. Man, I botched that photo. Some people, they have these, like, glamour shots. And I never understand how they pull it off. Yeah. But I'm like, whatever. I forgot that they had to take a picture of me. I'm just wearing like a hoodie and a t-shirt, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do any makeup, I got like 5 eyelashes out of place, and it just looks so stupid. So yeah, Anyways, I did that.
Them wonky
that's
eyelashes.
cool. Just wonking it up. So yeah, I mean, I know that you've been playing games and stuff, but like that's not the only thing you've been doing since the last time you were on this episode. Because the last one that you were on was
The preview.
Yeah. Because you didn't watch everything. Juan didn't watch everything. Yeah. You just watched,
I watched everything.
All the things that he was supposed to watch and didn't. So, yeah, you covered for that. And then previously, you've also been on Anime Expo episodes, and you've been
on our love episode.
Yeah, it was it your anniversary or was it Valentine's Day?
It was not Valentine's Day because I was at the Ag Expo for Valentine's Day, and then you and Juan went on your Valentine's Day date.
We did go on a date. Yeah, he brought me a flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was a week after that, and I have no idea why Juan wasn't there.
I don't remember. We definitely did a little episode though.
Yeah.
And we talked about just like romance anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time it's a little bit different than that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Zero romance. Well, I guess there's a little bit in there, but.
So yeah, you were here for like a minute 4 to 8 weeks ago, somewhere around there. And yeah, I'm sure a lot's changed. I mean, were you engaged at that point?
God, I don't know.
Oh, you should remember that. No, I know.
Well, I can't remember when that episode happened.
Me either. But you're definitely engaged now.
I am definitely engaged now.
For sure. Now you live with me. Mm-hmm. So we're in our crib. So this was like the easiest episode in some ways. Just because, you don't have to go anywhere special for it. And just, it's super cash. Heck of cash. And what else is new in your life?
Well, Sunday at family dinner, it was my brother's birthday, so he turned a big 2-0.
Shout out to our 20-year-old boy.
Yep. Baby boy Isaiah.
Classic.
Yep.
Aging. Love it.
Yep. Now he's officially not a teenager, so.
Dude, big moves. Moving up into that not teenage life.
Yeah.
Because still technically he was considered an adult at 18. Yeah. So just like that weird foreign area of 18, 19.
Yeah.
Now he's big boy news.
Big boy.
Big boy. Yeah, I guess you really haven't done anything with your life. Your life's pretty boring, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I'm not 100% sure if I was engaged or not on the preview, but I am now. I moved and then I house sat for an entire week.
That's true. You also took care of horses.
Yes, I did. I fed horses for 2 days. Mm-hmm. And they're basically like giant dogs or whatever.
True.
Because literally as soon as I would pull up, they would just come running to the gate.
Like, oh shit, Sierra's here. Fuck yeah.
They're like, food.
Food.
Yeah. And then I was telling you and Kyle, like, when I was pulling the wheelbarrow in with the bale of hay, they literally surrounded me on all sides, trying to reach over me to grab it. And I was just like batting them away. I'm like, no, move.
Fuck off, horse.
Because they're all like way taller than me. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, move your big asses out of the way. I need to go dump this food over in your stall.
That's such a weird thing. Having to take care of somebody else's horses. I don't know. I don't know horses very well. Let me just put it that way.
Horses are pretty simple.
I heard that they're just like rabbits and like a giant ass body from like multiple people. They say like, yeah, they're dumb as fuck. It's weird. But they're like super dangerous too.
Yeah.
So if they start running off, like they could cause all kinds of trouble. Definitely could die. Probably get hit by a car. Kill somebody that was in the car. Horses are dangerous in the modern day. So you have to have like special shit set up for them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But I mean, they were pretty chill. They were just excited about food.
Nice.
Just like, get in my belly.
True. Yeah. Good shit. And what about anime? Anime wise, what have you been watching?
I mean, the shows that I've been watching on my own, have been... I kind of fell off of Gege no Kitaro, so... I
know, yeah.
That's an anime that I might continue watching if I have, like, nothing else to watch, but...
Well, right. You still enjoy it, but it's not...
Yeah.
You have no commitment to it because it's just kind of going on.
Yeah.
Has no, like, real story behind it.
And I'd rather focus on the newer anime
Yeah.
than the one that's been going on for a while.
Right.
And then I am all caught up on Black Clover.
I remember you, like, snapping something... Black Clovery, yeah.
Yeah. They're getting into a lot of epic fights now because a lot of the shit's like going down, and there's lots of like fights between like 3 different kingdoms, and then it's just nuts.
Yeah, that show fucking... The pacing didn't make any sense to me. It's like, I feel like so much is happening so quickly, and then there's like 10 episodes that are all just like one thing that's going on.
Yeah.
And then they like jump through a whole bunch more nothing happening where there's a lot of growth, and you get to see that growth in like one other 10 episode span of a fight or something like that.
Yeah.
Classic shonen. But yeah, I don't know. I can't deal with the pacing like that because like while I enjoy most of the characters in that show, the animation was not cutting it. I heard it's gotten a little bit better, but it really wasn't that great.
It has gotten a little bit better.
It just felt like the pacing was so off. Like I couldn't care enough about it because it was so slow. And we had talked about this before, how it's a good show to watch like blocks of episodes and not just weekly. So has it gotten like better, or is it still...
I think like for me now that I've been watching it for a while, like it's gotten better in the sense that like I'm really into like specific characters.
Yeah.
So I enjoy watching like those specific characters.
I feel you.
That's why I'm more or less keep watching it, and the fight scenes are pretty good. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. And I was like, well, you know, I'm right here. I might as well just carry it out to the end.
Yeah. What characters are your favorite then?
I definitely... So... I don't remember if I told you this, but you know how like in the Black Bulls there was like that really giant
the big boy.
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah.
Turns out this whole time that was like the one of the like that particular like I don't know, wizard, witch, whatever you want to call them, knight.
Yeah, sure.
Their magical powers is basically like they're able to like
mimic
and like shapeshift or whatever. So what she really looks like is she's like a little dainty like petite girl with like green hair, and she's so shy and just like she just freaks out about everything, and the only way she feels confident is when she's other people.
So she's just always a giant fucking dude that doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But then in other episodes, she has like shapeshifted into like other members of her team and stuff like that.
She has.
And I think
she has a little bit like she kind of mimics their personality whenever she does that. Yeah.
She mimics their personality, and she can even do like some of their magic as well, but it's on like a smaller scale than what they can do because it's just mimicry and not like real. Yeah. But yeah, so I really like her. And then we finally got to see like the face and more about the like the Golden Dawn's captain.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. We got to learn a lot more about him. He's pretty cool. But he was always like the handsome, mysterious man from the beginning.
True.
So.
Yeah.
But he's pretty cool. And then like Captain Yami, the captain of the Black Bulls, he's my fucking favorite.
He's dope as fuck.
He's so cool.
He just doesn't give a shit about anything, and he's really good.
Yeah.
He's great.
I want a figure of him.
That'd be cool. There aren't like I haven't seen any Black Clover figures really, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't think I saw any anime.
Yeah, I can't even picture
not
Asta.
A lot of people were even like cosplaying as them, anyways.
I have seen a lot of people cosplaying as the Black Bulls on like Instagram and stuff. I think Funimation has shared a lot of like cosplays of them. But yeah, honestly, like Black Clover just isn't getting much representation right now, which I think speaks volumes.
Yeah. It doesn't really got legs, but
no. And I just want to make sure, is it by Studio Pierrot?
Oh,
I think
I am not 100% sure, because I know I looked up Studio Pierrot because I'm like, I recognize that studio. And then,
It
like,
is. Yeah, it's made by
okay.
them. Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure because I was like, a lot of like the big notable ones that they mentioned was like Bleach and Naruto
And Hero Mask, this week's episode's
Yeah.
topic. Yeah, no, they Bleach, Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Huge heavy hitter type shonen anime that people goddamn love.
Yeah.
And then they made Black Clover, and Black Clover was supposed to be like the new one coming in. Fuck you, My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
and then it wound up having like really shitty animation and pacing, and people hated the main character right off the bat. And I'm like, yeah, that's hard, man. To come out swinging so big and like missing all these hits. Because like you and I were committed to it. We were like, we're going to watch all this fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then I fell off pretty much as soon as they were like, yeah, we're not actually making it only 50 episodes. We're going to be doing a whole bunch. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't care about it that much. At this point,
it's indefinite.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, who gives a fuck?
They probably just wanted free reign like they've taken on Bleach and just like make it go for ages.
But I'm glad you're watching it. Still can keep me up to date with, oh yeah, this chick is actually, you know, exactly. But so why is the super shy chick, why does she show who she really is at all then? Like what broke her out?
What broke her out is that she used all of her mana, so then she could no longer maintain her mimicry form.
Okay.
So then she went to her normal form, and then everyone's like, whoa, is that what you really look like? She's like, don't look at me!
So...
Because they were in a really big battle, and she was fighting, and she ran out of mana, so she couldn't... Because she uses her magic to change form.
So she's just keeping it cash until she's like in her room where she like goes back down to normal. She's normally just a big old boy all the time.
Yeah.
Unless she's in her room. So weird. I don't know. Does it take less mana for her to shapeshift and more mana for her to do magic as her shapeshifted forms? Or
my guess is yes. Yeah. But I mean, they didn't really like explain her abilities like too much.
Did they explain where she found the big boy she turned into?
No, they didn't.
All right. Well, I mean, my two questions haven't been answered. And I think that that's my biggest problem with the show is that these are just little things where it's like, oh, shit, I wonder about this now that they revealed this cool thing. Oh, cool. We're not going to find out. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. So. I mean, they're each... Every once in a while, they have like a little section when they go into like one of the other like black bulls is like paths and stuff like that. Yeah. We haven't gotten like really any information about her. Mm-hmm. But we've gotten more information about, you know, the drunken witch or whatever.
Yeah,
the one who's always like naked.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got in depth about her, and then we got depth about the guy who's like in love with his sister.
Yeah, I remember that little plot. I did not like that. I didn't support him still being all bitchy. Whatever.
And then we got in depth about the other two boys, the like lightning boy that's kind of like crazy, and then the fire boy who's like a mohawk and the crazy cool broom motorcycle ride looking thing.
Yeah. And what about the food girl?
We haven't gone into her yet, but we did get a little bit into Captain Yami.
Nice. What about your other favorite character, the one who's just in the background muttering?
We haven't gone into like any depth about him, although it was kind of funny because I watched like their like throwaway episode where it was like, oh, you know, we'll have a little quiz bowl with the characters, I saw that thing. And there's a point where like he's like asking questions or whatever. He's like, where was I in this episode? What was I doing in this episode? And everyone's like, you were there? Mm-hmm. Who, like, everyone was like lost and confused or whatever, because like there's this one point where all the kids like in a village get like kidnapped or whatever.
Okay.
And he was actually like there when it happened, and he was literally in the crowd the whole time, but no one noticed he was there.
Well, why wasn't he doing shit?
Exactly. That's what everyone was saying. He's like, if you were there, why weren't you helping?
Right?
And he's like, that's not the question.
Well, that was like the first real big battle. Because, I mean, there was the like Ostis fighting in the town. Everything's on fire. And there's like weird zombie boy guy, whatever the fuck. And then that one was quickly resolved by being like, oh yeah, you guys can't really beat us, so fuck off. And then they stole a bunch of kids and went into a cave and had to call for some super backup. And this was the first point where we get to see Asta start learning about like ki or whatever. And yeah, that was a huge fucking point. Why would they even make that like offhand joke of like, oh man, it's like, come on, man. There was like a lot of shit going on. That would have been cool to see you as a part of that fight. That's like the first real big fight.
Well, because like the running joke is like he like whenever like they go like on a mission or like they end up like getting into a big battle, he always ends up not being there. Like when they went to like the water temple, the shape-shifting girl had changed into him. And so they thought they had everybody. So they left. And then he comes out and he's like, where did everybody go? And they just left him behind. So he wasn't there for that whole entire fight scene or those few episodes of them fighting at the water temple because he's just a forgotten character. So that's kind of like a running joke that he's there, but he's never really a part of anything.
Well, if he wouldn't suck so much, then maybe he could be a part of something. But instead he's just like, I'm just not going to do anything.
Yeah, because like honestly,
they're like, fuck it, he's pointless.
I couldn't even tell you I don't even know what his power is like.
He doesn't have a power.
Yeah. I have no idea. I've never seen it.
Dude
because he's never in any battle.
Dude sucks.
But somehow he got in the Black Bulls.
Yeah, he got in the Black Bulls, so maybe he's good. Well, how did fucking Food Girl get in there? I don't remember how she's so powerful, but I know that she could just conjure whatever the fuck she wants, essentially.
Yeah, she's just like, she has like immense power, and she's just like this tiny little person.
Huh.
But yeah, they haven't really gone, like I said, they haven't gone into like detail about her origins and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. But she's in love with
Right, yeah.
She calls him her food prince.
Classic. Yeah, that little episode where I think that was in the giant like fire in the city type fight thing. Yeah, that whole thing. Just fucking whack. Anyways, what else have you been watching?
After we got on a long Black Clover tangent.
Black Clover.
Other shows I've been watching on my own is Radiant, although I've missed, I think, like the last 3 episodes.
How are you feeling about that show?
At first I thought, like, in the first, like, 2 or 3 episodes, I thought the pacing was going, like, pretty good. Mm-hmm. But now we've had, like, 2 or 3 episodes where he's just in one place, and he isn't really making any progress.
Gotcha.
And at first I thought it was going to be kind of like a more magical version of like Naruto.
That's kind of the way that it felt, yeah.
But at least with like Naruto, when he was like training, like this kid is, like he and his team were literally going on missions, so you saw fight scenes all the time.
Yeah.
His training and his fight scenes is like, oh, we have to fight this octopus that's under the magical kingdom because that loves coffee and it kidnapped the old man or whatever, and if you can't even beat the octopus and you can't defeat him, nemesis or whatever. And then it's like for an episode and a half he's like doing that. It's like, I don't know, it's just I don't know if it'll pick up, but right now like it's just taking too long for him to like develop anything, and he hasn't like left the like magical sky kingdom or whatever that harbors all of the sorcerers and stuff like that. And so because I thought we were kind of like going on like an adventure and he's gonna like go here, learn a couple things, and then get directed to somewhere else and learn something else from someone else, kind of like an Avatar kind of thing, like learn from this master.
Honestly, in my head I was comparing it to Avatar the second that you said like octopus thing. I was just like, that was like the first cool move that Katara learned how to waterbend. But yeah, I don't know, like when you do look at shows like Avatar and stuff, Aang clearly has a lot of power, but Katara starts out just sucking. Big ol' fucking loser.
A big suck.
Yeah, she's the big suck. And eventually she becomes more and more powerful, and you get to see that by the end of the first season that she's like pretty damn strong. and Aang's learning with her, and they're both like really strong at this point. But that took, I don't remember if it was like 23 or 26, but it took like a decent amount of episodes in order to get to that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're not even at 13 episodes yet in Radiant, and he's still kind of sucking. Well, Katara was also still pretty shitty at that point. So who knows, man? Maybe you just stick with it a little bit more, and it'll get to like really fucking cool shit. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, I think my favorite character in the show is like the girl Melly who he's with, because like she's like bipolar, whatever. So like when she's like her normal self, she uses defense magic and she doesn't know how to use attack magic. But when she gets upset and frustrated or whatever, or really annoyed, like a switch flips inside her and she like blacks out, and then she's like this bitch from hell or whatever, like destroying the city and just like attacking people.
That's kind of fun.
And then when she finally calms down again, she's just like, what's going on? And she just doesn't know anything. But yeah, whenever she like turns, like literally everyone in the city just runs away from her. It's like, it's crazy Melly.
That's kind of fun. I mean, it looks good. I don't know how the animation is anymore, but I really liked all the colors of it.
Yeah, I like the colors.
I just felt like everything pops so much. It felt like I don't know. It felt like popular online like MMO type thing, like MapleStory or something. Like it has those colors that kind of pop, that really drive people to it.
I know what you're talking about.
Everyone fucking knows MapleStory. It's got those bright colors like Roblox, you know. It's got has those V-Bucks like Fortnite, you know.
No.
All right, cool. Don't worry about that. All right, what else? Give me some shit.
I've been watching the Sumo Show, and I love that show. I fucking love it so much.
It looked like it would be a lot of fun.
It's
but like,
so much fun.
I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Well, because the main character just has so much like, hell yeah, we're going to be friends and we're going to do this shit and we're going to be fucking good. And just like good feeling vibes. So I can imagine there are going to be some like rad ass fights in it. And you're going to be like, oh, these characters are so fun. Is that essentially what it is?
Yeah, because like all the characters are super fun. And then like they have these like short little brief little
bouts,
little bouts, and then they also have these kind of like short like little personal like friendship moments, because they're learning to be like, because essentially like two of the guys that end up joining this sumo team, they were very like solo like fighting individuals or whatever, because like one did karate, the other one did like kind of like MMA sort of. And so, like, joining the team, like, they're kind of learning to be more like, well, they're learning to be a team. And they're just, like, learning from each other or whatever and encouraging each other. So it has, like, this really cute aspect to it, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. Just a charming little show, but man, wasn't sold on it the first episode. So bye.
I think one of my favorite parts is like during like their fighting, like sometimes they literally do like these like slap things or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So it's like sometimes really funny when they like slap each other in the face. It's like, oh, he's getting bitch slapped real hard.
Fucking love sumo wrestling. It's so funny. There was this one time, just fun little fact about my life.
Did you try sumo?
So there was this one time I went down to visit my friend in LA, and his girlfriend at the time was going to UCLA. So we went to go hang out with her and visit her, and we had another friend with us, and we all just kind of like went around campus and explored it at night and found all this cool shit. Well, we found an empty ballroom. So just like a giant dance hall, just completely empty.
Welcome to the ballroom.
Even better. We sumo wrestled in the ballroom. We like got down, you know, hiked up our pants or whatever.
You do the big
wow. And slap our legs, you know, getting all that, and put our fists on the ground, and then, you know, came at each other and pushed each other out. Of course, me being the biggest, baddest boy, I fucking crushed it, dude. Yeah, my friend's girlfriend didn't stand a chance. Fucking threw her out of the ring so quick. No, it was really fun though. It was pretty cool. Being able to have a big arena for that. I'm like, man, if there was sumo wrestling in America, I might have done that, because I'm not a wrestling guy. Don't like wrestling. But something about sumo wrestling is so fucking goofy and fun, but like intense. and you don't have to be like crawling around each other. You just push the fuck out of each other. And that seems a little bit like less weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could handle that.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, junior high, instead of being like, you should be on the sumo wrestling team, they were like, you should be on the wrestling team. And I was like, nah, man, I don't do like that. I'm into video games and shit. And there's like, oh,
nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
Big
They never
old,
fucking got
big
it.
old dweeb.
I was always bad at running, but they're like, you would be fucking good at wrestling, bro. And I was like, all right, Mr. Vikoka, you back off. I'm not feeling it.
I had taken it way back to junior high.
Dog, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they were fucking trying to recruit me that young, man.
Damn.
Imagine if I had done that. Now I'd be a professional wrestler.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would be fit as fuck. I'd be slamming dudes left and right. It would be fucking great.
Nice. Very nice.
I'm glad you're watching that show, though. It honestly looks like it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot.
It's surprising, though. It's not getting a lot of traction just like online or anything. You know, the only place that you could talk to people that like anime, they're not really saying anything like, oh, man, I fucking love this show. It's just like, you know, it's kind of a sleeper. Like some people that watch it really fucking love it, but a lot of people are just missing the boat. And I'm one of those peeps. So whatevs.
You're missing out.
I guess. Whatever. Fuck you.
But other than that, shows that I'm not watching with Juan is the Bunny Girl Senpai and Zombieland Saga.
Bunny Girl is so good.
It is.
I haven't seen the latest and greatest step, but oh man, it's fucking good. It's so fucking good.
It's funny because like every week that I listen to the podcast, ever since that came out, like every week, you and Juan are like, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
It's so fucking good.
And then last week I was cracking up because I think it was last week when you guys were talking about the figure that's coming out of her.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we can't get it, but we kind of want it, but we can't get it because then it'd just be weird. So then I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna fucking get it then.
Oh shit! So you got it?
No, I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
Man.
I'm going to.
It's gonna come out in like a year. That's the fucking problem with all these figures. They're like, hey, we know you like this shit, so we're making a figure of it. And you're like, oh, sick. So I'll get that in like a month or something. And they're like, yeah, in like a month and also 9 more months. So just wait.
That's one of the things I hate, like, occasionally when I go to look up, like, figures, like, you know, but to buy for, like, Juan and I, for Juan, like, on our anniversary or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he loves the show. I was like, this is a cool figure. And I was like, oh, comes out in, like, November 2019. I was like,
right?
It's like, well, I'm not going to just give him a photo and be like, oh, you get to wait 9 months for this.
Right? And you're like, we're not even going to be alive by then, so what's the fucking point?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen.
Everything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. But then there are those other times where it's like, oh man, this is going to be out in like 2 months, fucking stoked. And then you find it in Japan and you're like, okay, cool, I guess. Why does Japan get it before us? Whatever, fuck you guys.
Japan gets everything before us. They even get anime before us.
No, really? Yeah. But simulcasts.
Yeah, but simulcasts happen an hour after the episode's aired.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I can't watch anime anymore. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I will not watch anime until all this discrimination has been put to rest and I'm able to simulcast on Crunchyroll.
On the minute, every minute, tracking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Each word simulcasted at the same time.
But yeah, so anyways, that's a lot of good shows, man. I love Bunny Girl Senpai. And then Zombieland Saga. I haven't seen, I think the latest episode like just came out. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But the last one that I watched was...
I watched it with you and Kyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you watched? The last one that you watched? Yeah, okay.
Well,
it was fucking
like,
great.
That was the one I needed to watch. And I was like, oh, Kyle and Trip are already watching it. I'll just watch it with them.
Let's do it. And yeah, essentially that one didn't have a whole lot going on until the end to like really grip you.
Yeah.
It was essentially just, you know, our main character chick is trying to really get down to it and be the best idol that she could be, and they're about to have like a big show that she's super nervous about, so she's trying to get everyone to like really fucking get on their shit and do more practice, and nobody really wants to that much, and then they get sent off to go and survive in the fucking mountains and everyone's doing all this hunter-gathering shit and like trying to make a warm place for them to stay even though, you know, they're zombies or whatever. They're just getting by. And our main character is like, guys, we need to fucking practice. Like, I know that we're out here in the stone, but we need to fucking practice. And then she didn't do any kind of like trying to let everyone, survive type stuff. She was just all about practice.
One girl trying to somehow has a bow and arrow. I don't remember how she got that.
She made it.
She did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, she didn't like, it didn't like show how she made it, but you could tell like it was shitty. It wasn't like a super like nice one that,
But yeah, so like girl trying to shoot a pig with a bow and arrow.
Just a bunch of pop idols out in the fucking wilderness.
And then like the little girl or whatever, the youngest one, like she was like, I know how to make fires because I was in this commercial one time or whatever.
Yeah, so whatever.
Random stuff.
Yeah, so everyone's kind of like doing their thing, getting everyone together. I think somebody brought like a shitload of mushrooms. They were like, hey man, I found all these mushrooms. Some of them might be poisonous, but we're dead anyway, so fuck it.
Once a geisha girl brought the mushrooms.
That's who it was. I was trying to remember who, and that was like my only guess. Of course, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to sound like an idiot if it wasn't. Yeah, man. So all of that stuff happens, and then finally, like near the end, they get back to town. They're living in their house again, and everyone's practicing. And our chick's been practicing this whole time, but they're all like off or whatever. So she gets way too heated about it. She's like, "We wouldn't be fucking off if you guys practiced when I fucking wanted to practice." She storms off, and then some chick is just like, "Hey, crazy man, why the fuck didn't you just like tell her what was going on? Why'd you send us into the woods to teach her this goddamn lesson?" And he's like, "Because that's how I fucking do things." And then she's like, "Well, you know what, man?
Crazy son of a bitch."
Yeah, exactly. And so the chick's just like, "You know what, man? Maybe if you told our main character like what was actually going on, she would listen because that works best with her." But then, of course, she's our main character chick is watching from the outside as they're all practicing, completely in sync, doing like great. She's like, "Oh, fuck, I was the one who should have been doing the things with them the whole time." And it all kind of clicks for her. And then you're like, "Oh, yeah, crazy guy knew what he was doing the whole time." And then they're all like best friends. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm such an asshole. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, man, no worries about it. It's all good." And she goes and she's all excited and whatnot. She runs outside. She's about to go on like a little jog. And some chick's like, "Hey man, be careful out there. Have a good time." She's like, "Thanks, I will. I'll see you soon." And then boom, slam. First episode, she gets slammed by another fucking truck.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and she's like,
Where am I?
"What is going on? Where am I? What are you guys talking about?" And then that's the end of the first episode.
I think my favorite part of the episode was when the crazy guy got bitch slapped in the restaurant.
Oh,
and then
man.
he like got all teary eyed. He's like, "Why would you hit me?"
It's so great.
What about you? What anime have you been watching?
Gosh. Too many to fucking count, man. Honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot this week. I caught up with a little bit with Kyle. So we've watched the like, I always call it Color Girl show, but it's like,
I guess
in a world without color.
I also forgot to ask you, what's good with you? So you can answer both those questions.
No, it's all good. We'll get into anime first, then we'll talk about me, and then we'll get back into anime.
Okay.
So yeah, the life in the world without color girl from the future does magic show, which I will totally have the name of on our summary episode, on our fall summary wrap up episode.
I still haven't even seen like a little peep of that at all, because like
none at all.
No, because besides Banana Fish, Juan didn't show me any of the new shows that came out on
Come
Prime.
on.
And Juan doesn't trust me with leaving his like Amazon
Oh,
Prime
yeah,
account on my computer, so he logs out every time. So it's just like I never get to watch it. So I'm just like, I hear you talk about the Color Show and whatever the other puppet ones is.
Yeah, puppet fucking ugh. Anyways, so colors. She still can't see any color, and she's still kind of lame. But then she's getting more and more inspired. And I feel like literally nothing is happening in it, but I'm going to finish it because I'm already so far in. So I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Let's see what happens. Maybe she'll like have some kind of an epiphany and become like a great magician. But right now, her whole fucking issue is she can't do the good magics. And her grandma from the past can't do any good magics either, at least to the same caliber. And here's the big fucking ish. She was sent back in time by her grandma, but nobody knows how to send people forward in time. So she's stuck in the past. Maybe.
Way to go, Grandma.
Maybe. So that's that whole fucking story. Banana Fish, still incredible show.
I'm behind on that, but
I'm constantly impressed. It's just such a thrill ride. I love all the characters. I think it's
who's your favorite though? Okay, let's put it this way. Which boy would you fuck?
Which boy would I fuck?
Yeah.
Eiji.
Really?
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
I hate him.
He seems like such a supportive, nice young man. Are you kidding me?
He's too supportive.
He pole vaults.
I need a stronger guy than that.
His arms are so strong. He has such a good stride. Did you see him
his
vault?
arms aren't enough.
Oh my god. Okay, so what else is more important than fucking arms? Nose? Come on, man. Blonde hair, beautiful eyes. You trying to fuck Ashlynx?
No.
Who are you trying to fuck?
Well, if he was still alive.
Whoa!
I would have fucked.
Okay, big spoilers, okay. First off, pedophilia, okay? He died in second episode. I know what you're after.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about shorter.
Ah, man. Too soon. Too soon. Trying to fuck dead guys. Necrophilia. Yeah, Shorter was fucking dope. I loved Shorter. Shorter was the man.
Yeah.
Dressing up like an old guy. Can't get enough of that.
An old Chinese man.
Hell yeah. It's just such a fun show. It's so good. The intro sucks, but like, what are you going to do?
See, Shorter's tough. And he had a heart of gold.
It's true.
Edgy just has a heart of gold, and that's pretty much it. A
Dude,
heart of gold
that
melts pretty easily whenever he gets a little side glance from Ash.
Okay,
Ooh, what'd I do this time? Ooh.
Okay, listen, man.
That's my impression of Edgy.
Listen, man. He's came up with some great plans. He's done a lot of good shit in order to get shit done. He got the gangs together to save Ash. Big news. Big fucking news. I'm so not used to the mics being in the position that they are. I've been banging on them the whole episode. So fucking Kane is the goddamn champion of the underground, apparently. Like, he's just the coolest dude ever. I am having such a fun time. They had a huge sewer fight, and I don't know, man. I'm really, really having a good time with the show, so I want to watch more. I am just constantly impressed with Banana Fish. It's not the best show I've ever seen, but I always have fun with it. It's always such an entertaining show. They just need a better intro for the season, because the intro is just absolute trash. It's like somebody wanted to sing in broken English, and I just don't get it. Like, if you're gonna sing in English, fucking commit to it. Don't just go like, we're gonna, say some shit.
I like the first opening.
Oh yeah, the first opening was great.
I sang that shit all the time.
Oh yeah, do it again.
No.
All right, cool. You got me. I have a really good time with that show. We've been watching, let's see, a little bit more Goblin Slayer, which has been...
I'm so behind. It's all Juan's fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good parts about it, and there's some not so good parts. I really like his team, though. It's pretty cool. Like, the show overall, I think I talked about this last week. It's not as... It doesn't feel as lively as other shows, just because, it's a darker theme and whatnot. And then our main character is just like, oh yeah, I kill goblins. That's like all that I have to me. I'm good at tactic type stuff, but I have like zero personality other than wanting to kill goblins and be good at it. And then you get all the other characters, and they feel like very fun but generic kinds of characters. You got the dwarf who's always fucking talking shit about the human for cutting his beard, and then the elf for being all like high and mighty all the time. So it just has like really typical fantasy tropes.
Although I will say that it did kind of like throw me off that, like, I mean, like, they still have like, like good battle scenes and stuff like that. But I thought that it was going to be a lot more intense than it has been because of the way they opened the show. I know,
the first episode. Well, I mean...
So I thought it was going to be like maybe like every other episode, like some bad shit was going to go down. So I was ready for that. And I was like, oh, we're just kind of like chilling out, just learning about people.
Maybe you haven't gone to the episode yet, but there's an episode
Probably
where
not.
Probably not. Where like a few of our main people like almost die, like it's really close, and the elf is like all of her clothes have been torn off and she's about to be raped as they're like trying to murder these goblins that are on top of her.
I think
It got really intense.
I think the last episode I watched was the one like after he had woke up of 3 days of sleeping after they fought that big ogre thing.
Yeah.
That was like the last episode that I watched.
I think that wasn't that the same one?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
How do you not?
Because a lot of things have happened since then.
I mean, I guess that's true. Yeah, he just fought that giant ogre and like...
And I might have only saw that because I might have just saw that when I was like in the room while you and Kyle were watching it. I might have not even watched that whole episode.
Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I'm liking that show. And I'm really liking, since that time I was reincarnated as a slime is too core, I'm really liking the show because we just got our full team together. And I feel like there's so much potential for where else the show can go. Because we kind of really quickly established that our main character, who is the slime, would like to meet somebody from Japan because he knows that since he's been reincarnated in this world, there must be the chance that somebody else is also from Japan in this world. So he finds that chick and he's like, oh, fucking awesome. You're also from Japan. And then that whole goal is accomplished. And now what's next? Well, he's stuck in the world. And he can now turn into a human, and it's exciting to see where else this story could lead us.
And he met the horny boys.
He did. He met the horny boys, and I think he just gave them names because they're all like bros or something. And that was the end of the last episode that I watched.
Yeah.
But man, I'm into that show. I like it more than Goblin Slayer just because we have a lot of characters with personalities.
Yeah.
And, you know, Gobta is just a fucking dumbass looking goblin, and I love that. While everyone else is just like big and mighty and cool. We have like some really dorky shit with some really cool shit, and I feel like that really speaks true to a lot of MMO type games where like you're gonna have some dumb looking stuff and people are gonna be proud as fuck of it, and you're gonna have some really really cool stuff too, that you're gonna have such amazing characters with cool masks and personalities and backstories, while you're gonna have some dumbasses like Gobta and the slime, and you know, I'm into it. I really like the world. I like I feel like they've done a really good job with world building.
Yeah.
Wherein like Goblin Slayer, since they're both isekai, you know, in another world type shows, Goblin Slayer is just like, it's a dark fantasy show. People are given quests by other people that need some job done. And that's the whole show. There's not a whole lot of world building. They're just like, all right, so there's a big ass church. Also, there's like something really evil that's probably summoning the goblins. But there's not much to know. Like, we don't know where any specific part of the land is. Like, we know now that there are like demons and goblins and shit that are coming from all over the place. But it's like, okay, where are the lizard people from? Because clearly there's a lizard person here. Where are the elves from? Where are the dwarves from? We haven't seen any of that. But we get really quick in this is just why I think it's better, like at world building. In the slime show, it starts out and it's like, I'm in a fucking cave. Okay, cool. So monsters are in caves. We establish like a few of those things. He meets a giant dragon. They learn about humans and how he was sealed off. They learn a little bit more about humans by watching them for a second. And then we get to learn about the goblins and kind of what their deal is. And then we get to learn about how naming affects them and gives them more powers, and it takes up magic, and we get to learn like we get to learn all these little bits and pieces. And then they learn, you know, about the big city that like is run by dwarves, but it's kind of a place for any monster or being to be. It's a peaceful town, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. So we get to learn this really cool town that has a lot of rich environment behind it and a lot of different sources of information. So people hear about this slime, it really quickly can spread that like, oh man, there's this like super good powerful slime, and he helped out so many people so quickly. And we're just kind of slowly building our team and getting a really cool crew together, and we're about to learn a lot more about the Onis, and we know that there's some like serious bad shit going on. We learned some backstory about some demon people. Lots of little things have come together, and just I feel like the world is so big and there's so much more that we're gonna see and explore, wherein I have no idea how large Goblin Slayer is, because I feel like it all could take place within like a city.
I always just imagined it that it was like basically like Oblivion or Skyrim.
Sure.
That's what I just picture that world to be like.
Exactly. It's just like a little area wherein That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime feels like it's a world versus like a map.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. That's my biggest reason behind liking That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime more than Goblin Slayer, because I like the grittiness of Goblin Slayer. I just wish that they had more depth to everything that happens. And of course, like, you don't need it for it to be a good show.
Yeah.
I just feel like that could knock it up. But I mean, source material, it didn't have it, so fuck it. Who cares? So anyways, watching those. That whole like weird alien marriage show still going on. It's fun. It's
You're
whatever.
still watching it?
Yeah, man. It's 3 episodes apiece. You can finish it all in like 20 minutes.
You mean 3 minutes apiece?
3 episodes apiece, 3 minutes apiece. Fuck it.
Just want to make sure no one was confused.
You watch 3 episodes at a time because you can't just watch 1 episode. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, thanks for clarifying. And I think that's kind of all the shows that I'm watching right now. Yeah, that's probably it. There's not a lot that I'm watching this season, but I'm okay with that because I don't need like a ton of anime at once. I feel like whenever I do have that, I get a little bit more overwhelmed. I'm like, oh man, we're falling behind on anime. But instead, it's just like, you want to hang out and just catch up on anime. But now that I'm done talking about all the anime in my life, this week's been a pretty big week.
Yeah.
I took some time off of work. I was going to have a friend come into town, but sadly, he could not come due to family issues. So no biggie there. But what is a biggie is Smash Bros. Came out. Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. Anybody that doesn't know much about Smash Bros., essentially it's just like a party fighting game, but it's not like a serious fighting game unless you get into the real competitive world of it, which is a whole different thing. So fuck all that. It's essentially just like a really fun casual game with a bunch of goofy gimmicks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they have in the past had single player modes that are more and more elaborate. So it used to be, you just play through, fight a bunch of things, then you fight a hand, and then it became play through. You do like different specific stages to where you have to escape the lava, climb up to the top. You got to explore this Zelda temple, get through that, shoot all the targets, like you fight all these polygons. It had like more gimmick type things. That was cool. And then it also introduced an event mode where it was like, okay, fight these 4 Yoshis and like, okay, do this weird thing and do that weird thing. And then it expanded on that and it became harder and harder. And then in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, they added in a whole story mode where all of your friends, essentially, you meet up and you all wind up like fighting along these storylines while you're trying to fight this like new kind of enemy in the subspace emissary. And you fight just a big old fucking monster guy. I don't know what to call it. It's like a techno monster. I'll just say that. Just shoots all kinds of lasers and stuff at you. And it's like a different kind of game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big rave boss fight. But they introduced a lot of like bosses that you didn't get to play as those characters, but a lot of cool things like that. So people got really excited for the next game. Like there were all kinds of challenges and whatnot in Brawl, and then in Super Smash Brothers U, I don't even remember what it was called, Smash 4. I think that's mostly what people call it. It lacked a lot of things. It was super hyped up when it was coming out because people were like, oh shit, this character is going to be it and that character. And then it just felt kind of lackluster. There wasn't a whole lot behind it. They started losing like more modes. Instead, they were like, okay, for competitive people, we're going to make it so we have flat maps. Since everyone just chooses Final Destination every time, we'll make every map, or not every map, but a lot of maps be able to be that same kind. Flat, nothing else happens, Final Destination. It's all fine. So they have that option to do that suddenly, and then all these new characters. So people still really liked it. There were a lot of good things. I had fun playing it for like a minute, but it didn't have that like, oh man, this is an amazing game kind of effect. It was like, oh cool, so there's like a new mini game map kind of mode, and some weird shit happens, and there's this and that, and all these like little things that were kind of cool, but didn't really matter. This game came out. It has a whole different kind of story mode where if you're a Nintendo fan, you will absolutely fucking love this game for the references. So each thing you do, it's like, okay, you're going to get a spirit of this specific character from this Nintendo series. Essentially what spirits do is they give like your character different kinds of buffs to start out in the story mode. Like you start out each fight with a specific new buff. So as you're going on, you're unlocking all the characters. You start out as Kirby, you get Mario, and then you're on a path where it could branch out in 3 different ways. So depending on what you choose, you'll go down a different way. Everything's kind of fair consistently, but it becomes easier and easier to beat some of the matches just because your character gets more and more powerful. But all these spirits that are from specific games and stuff, they all have a gimmick behind it in the level that makes it just like a fun little homage to that old game that you used to play. So like Advance Wars has a character that he heals up all of his minions in the game. So his whole thing is he heals everyone up and everyone uses like explosives. So you have one character who is supposed to be that one from Advance Wars and a bunch of other ones that are all the same, and they're like smaller versions and they just use like explosive stuff. So it's like a bunch of snakes and like a little Mac or something like that. I don't remember. Little Mac heals up all the little snakes and the snakes are just exploding left and right and you need to kill them all. That's a fun little homage to Advance Wars. And then you have Charging Chuck is a character from Super Mario World. And he's just like a little football player who just like runs back and forth and like bumps into you.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so you play against 4 Warriors that only use their like side A attack where they're like dashing and then they like look like they're charging at you and they do like a little bump into you for a bunch of damage. So you need to kill a bunch of them. And that's the only move that they're using. They're just like trying to run into you as much as possible. So just little like nods to the different series like that. They also have some really cool sections where you go into this special area and it's all like a Bowser castle. So you have to go and hit these switches to activate these different blocks. You hit the blue switch, you activate the blue blocks, etc.
You thought it was the Castlevania castle.
It looks like the Castlevania castle on the map. And then as soon as you get in there, it's like, oh yeah, this is very
because
clearly
then there's like with the black rings with the spikes.
Exactly. You're like, oh yeah, some of that shit. And then it also has like all the blocks and whatnot, you know, a bunch of bricks.
Yeah.
And then every spirit in there is like related to Mario in some way, I think. I don't know. Lots of Fire Emblem references to where... Hell yeah. To where you'll fight like Ridley, who's like a big-ass dragon, or you'll fight Charizard or something. And then there's the Fire Emblem character who's not actually fighting because they're using their dragon to fight or whatever it is in the background. And, you know, Pokemon reference, Latios and Latias, where... there are 2 Charizards that are pink and blue. They throw down the Pokeball. That's Latias. And then it fucking choops you back and forth. Does a whole bunch of that. And the Charizard just fucking slam you. And I don't know, man. There's just so many charming, fun little things in here that's like, oh shit, this is that. Oh shit, this is that. Every single level I feel like is filled with so much love and care. And they're like, oh man, what about this character? What characters could be used from our game that makes it feel like that game?
Definitely a lot of detail.
So much detail. And like, I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. It is so much fun. I goddamn love it. It's amazing.
It's been kind of fun to watch you and Kyle play it and then like figure out like, you just like start off with whatever buffs that you originally had or whatever. Like, okay, well, now that we see how this is going to play out the fight, like we should do this and this and this buff and just switching everything out until you can find the right combo. Change a bunch of weird shit,
yeah. Well, because like you could start out with special items. So we often start out with curry. So we could just like do some quick damage and like flinch a character into place and then smash the fuck out of them. But some characters are relentless and they don't give a fuck about that. Or like sometimes it's a boss or something. So we're like, okay, we need extra dodge. We need to like buff this kind of attack. We need to do that and that and that. Maybe we take critical hits. I don't know. So yeah, it has like strategy behind it too.
Yeah.
Fucking such a good game. I love it so much. I feel like anyone that has a Nintendo Switch should buy it just because it's so phenomenal. Like Super Mario Odyssey, fantastic game. If you're not a fan of platformers, probably not for you. Whatever. And Legend of Zelda, also an incredible game. Never finished it. If you're bad at finishing RPGs, then you're not going to finish it. So fuck it. And then you have a game like this where it's like, I feel like there's so much care put behind each part of it. Like you might not necessarily be a big fan of fighting games, but I feel like it can convince you to be a fan. Like, it starts out pretty simple, and then it gets harder and harder. And of course, there are different difficulties, and we're playing out on the hardest ones, so we're getting into some way too difficult fights. But you could always change it at any point. And I don't know, I feel like it's made for the casual gamer, and it's also made for somebody who's way more serious. And I'm loving it. It's a treat and a half, let me tell you. Oh.
It's Ramen Podcast, sponsored by Nintendo Switch.
Anyways, buy it now. Like, buy it yesterday. It's so fucking good. And yeah, that's essentially been my whole week. I haven't really been doing a lot other than that. Just been mad chilling. Just chilling hard. You know how it goes.
Video gaming it up.
Yeah, being a hardcore gamer. That's what I do. Anyways, that's pretty much all that's been up with me. You got any other final thoughts before we head into the news?
No.
Okay, cool. So let's get to the news. There's a new Ghost in the Shell anime, and it's going to be a Netflix exclusive that'll premiere in 2020.
Nice. Do you think it'll be better or worse than the live action movie?
Let's just put it this way. The key visual that they put out looks like...
hella sexy.
It looks fucking cool. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. It's got like some... It of course has the like sleek black look that Ghost in the Shell has. But then it also has a couple of... It has like a pink and a blue accent that really make it pop. And it feels like it's gonna... Or I guess it looks. It doesn't really feel like anything.
It makes you feel.
It makes you feel like this is gonna be a different kind of Ghost in the Shell in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in that. I don't know if they're going to go for the vaporwave type feel where, you know, it's got those nostalgic aesthetics mixed with like the new wave cyberpunk. But so, I feel like it might do that. Am I
hearing you correctly? You're getting a little excited about a Netflix anime?
Hey man, it looks good. Netflix has done good shit before. They could do it again. But overall, with Netflix anime, we will discuss that soon. Very soon on this app. So yeah, it looks really good. A lot of people are super stoked. And I don't know who specifically this guy is, but Ilya Kuvshinov is a really popular artist from Russia who moved to Japan to, you know, further his career as an artist, essentially. And his art was published as the key visual. So a lot of fans of him are crazy fucking stoked that he's a part of this project. So I don't know him at all, but that's essentially his background. He's just like some dude who was popular in Russia, and now he's in Japan, and he's trying to get even better.
I don't know if you know the answer to this. So, like, when he, like, was his, like, art of Ghost in the Shell, like, for Ghost in the Shell, or did they, like, see it and like and be like, hey, let's use your shit?
Well, a lot of his art has been published in Japan for like different kinds of ads and visual novels and magazines and stuff. So like he's become a more and more popular artist. But this is like Ghost in the Shell is one of those things that it's just known throughout so many different kinds of media now and so many different nations and whatnot. Like we got a live action movie of it. People might not realize that it's based off of a manga or it's based off of an anime or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But it's just so big that at this point, when people hear Ghost in the Shell, they have an idea of what it is. Yeah. You know?
I just didn't know if like it was like if he was doing like a fan art, like all these posters and stuff like that we have that we buy from people who draw them themselves or whatever.
Well, he does fan art and stuff, but he's had his work published from these major sources, so that's pretty cool. And I mean, major being like visual novel, anybody can make a visual novel, and they might have hired him for cheap or something, I don't know. But his art is being seen a lot. Yeah, magazines, ads, all that shit, So yeah, that's pretty cool as far as Ghost in the Shell goes. Hopefully it's good. It might be shit. Who knows? We'll find out in like a year and a half or whatever.
It looks sexy, so.
It does look sexy, so yeah. Speaking of sexy, I don't know if the show is at all, but Anyways, Masakuni Igarashi's manga series Senryuu Shoujo is going to be receiving a TV anime adaptation, which I don't know much about it. It's being made by the studio Connect, which I'm not very familiar with either.
Either.
But the thing that's most important about it is it looks fucking adorable. I don't know what this show is, what it's about. It's clearly like a slice of life about some girl. But man, I can't get over the bright, fun visuals that they've released for it. So I encourage anyone to look that up. Senryuu Shoujo.
Yeah, when you showed me the picture of it when we were at Taj,
Just look at her go.
Yeah, like it briefly, like the first thought I had was it reminded me of that one Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, that little Fooly Cooly advert, but like way less sexualized and a little bit more like fun.
Yeah, because that one was more kind of like pastel-y colors. This one's a lot more like brighter.
Yeah, it's bright. The colors really just fucking jump off the page, and they're in your face, and I'm all about it. And also the character design, don't know much about it, but she's got big eyes and a like really wide mouth. Oh so God. She has like a huge fucking smile.
Speaking of big eyes, that reminded me of me and Kyle talking about what kind of anime eyes that we wanted.
Oh, right. Yeah. So what kind of, let's go back to anime eyes then. What did you settle on for your anime eyes?
So I wanted like the big, giant anime shaped eyes that like from like the old anime where they took up like half the face. Yeah. And they were just giant. And then Kyle had asked us what color that we wanted. And I said I wouldn't want to change the color, but I would want it like Kakagurui style to where like whenever I was feeling like, like evil or mischievous or like,
extra fucking intense.
Yeah, or wanted to yell baka at someone that like my eyes would just like glow red and it just looked hella evil.
Hell yeah. Also, I don't know if you watched the promotional video for Kakagurui season 2.
I haven't, yeah.
Ugh.
I've only never seen the visuals.
Ugh, some of the faces that they make, of course, it has that style where it's like, oh, this is an anime. And it slowly like morphs into this beautiful but disgusting face, Oh, man, it just looks so clean and so cartoonish, but like really, really artistic and like well done. Like if you just took that still, it would be a great piece of art. Oh, man. I'm so stoked, Cierra. I'm so stoked. But yeah, you would want those freaky old school anime eyes. Yeah. And I support that. I'm down with that. I would rather have just like some beautiful anime eyes. Maybe like a green color with a few like accents in it, or I would have like either a deep green. Like emerald green, I guess, not like super like sagey, but like an emerald green with some like dark red burgundy kind of accents in it.
Nice.
That's my ideal anime eyes on myself. I would be into it, But yeah, there was that one anime that had like the circles and like triangles and squares and shit in their eyes, just these tiny little extra colors. I can't remember what it was because it was not that great, but fucking love those eyes. They were good eyes. Mate. Yeah, anyways. So moving on to other anime news. This was just an interesting little thing. So Japan's anime industry is now worth $19 billion. And it's mostly being driven by streaming and exports.
That makes sense.
Right. Which I think that's pretty cool that it's mostly being driven by exports and stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they want to be famous or popular or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then they might not be famous in like their state or whatever.
Yeah.
But when people like over in like Russia and Japan and the UK and Africa know about you, it's like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like, like that sometimes happens to like, like bands and stuff like that where they, put out an album and then like, oh, it's not popular in the United States, but freaking people in China are digging it.
Yeah, man.
Or whatever the case is.
It's nuts. That being said, the anime industry, they're still not getting paid reasonably.
Even though it's a $19 billion
Yeah,
industry.
exactly, right? So there are people that are still not getting paid reasonably for their artwork and all of the effort that they put into it and the hours that they're working. Just they're working way too much and they're just not getting paid enough. I think that's fucked up and crazy, but hey man, maybe, people having all this information about the wages and how much they've been worked, and I don't know, all the different parts of it. Hopefully there's going to be more negotiation for pay or whatever they need in order to be compensated for all the hard work that they do.
Yeah, but I think, like, I mean, on a happier note, I think it's really encouraging that the fact that the biggest chunk of that $19 billion industry is basically the support of other countries.
It's really
that
cool.
Are consuming it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm just hoping that people start getting paid reasonably.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, it's so cool that it's something where it's bringing different nations together. We've been out over this shit. Elon Musk knows what's up. Just ask him. Anyways, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of other pretty cool international type anime news, the United States is actually getting to see the premiere of Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 before Japan. So we're seeing the world premiere of the first episode a day before Japan. If you do want to see it, you could go to fathomevents.com and you could get a ticket, see if they're available for you. It's going to be January 5th, Mob Psycho 100, Episode 1. And I believe they're also playing the OVA recap episode that was all from Reagan's point of view.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun event for people that want to go to that. I don't really care because I'll see it the next day at home, and I don't think I'm going to have a theater that'll air it, and I'll probably be on call or whatever the fuck it is. So I'm just going to put that one way out in the distance and be like, you know what? I'm just going to cover it the next day. How about that? That just sounds good to me. So that's my deal there. Earlier in this episode as well, we were talking about Zombieland Saga just a little bit. So recently in New Type, there was an interview with the Zombieland Saga director, Munehisa, and scriptwriter Shigeru, and essentially they had said, your impression of the opening may change when you watch till the end.
Dun dun dun.
A lot of people are expecting it's going to be some super fucked up dark shit.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the reason that people are extrapolating all these darker things is because the intro has a few points where you get to see our main character, who I haven't called her by her name at all, but her name is Sakura. It's just super basic.
Maybe that's why we forget it.
Yeah, Sakura. So
I honestly don't even remember any of their names. I just call it the punk girl who was in the gang, and the basically the concubine geisha girl and the little lowly girl.
Yeah,
main
exactly.
Character.
Well, because they all have archetypes,
Yeah.
So it's easy to go off of the chick that's still a zombie, but her name is To something or other, Tohei. I don't know what it's called.
Toei or Tei or whatever.
Yeah. So, anyways, all different kinds of characters than that, but in particular, we haven't heard much backstory on our main character. So Sakura has a huge scar across her face, and she also has a leg that got hurt and injured in some way, and there's just a bunch of injuries on her that people don't think would be from
getting hit by a van.
Yeah, getting hit by a van. And people are going pretty dark with oh, maybe, she killed herself or something like that. And that's, why she has all this weird extra trauma and stuff. But my theory that I didn't share with you.
You were saving it? You were sitting on it?
I was sitting on this, okay? My theory is that the intro is a combination of their not K-pop, they're J-pop idols,
Yeah.
And their Power Rangers.
Yeah.
What if this has already happened before? They were all zombies. They were all Power Rangers. They had superpower type things or something like that. Maybe they were a government experiment and they had all this. Shit went crazy. Did not go well. They had to restart. So they lost all their memories and shit, and they went full zombie again, and then they all slowly started waking up, and now the new endeavor is they'll be pop idols.
Okay, but I want to ask, were they zombies when they were Power Rangers? Or were they Power Rangers and then died, and now they're well, we'll just make them pop idols now?
I would assume that they were zombies when they were Power Rangers. And then some serious shit went down. They're yo, we can't do this. something, something, something. It's all bad news. Theory. It's just a game theory. Don't worry about me. It's all good. Yeah. But I think that would be fun if they like somehow brought that around into it. Because I mean, people are going dark, and like that's the more realistic way. But man, what if it was like, oh shit, they were all Power Rangers? We get a spin-off show where we get to see them as Power Rangers before they were J-pop idols. That's
true. I mean, I feel like if they did it your way, then they could definitely make a lot more money off of that, because they're just like, spin-off show.
Oh, I had showed my coworker the intro to it because I was really fucking jamming to the outro of Tamako Market.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this shit's so fucking good. And I was like, oh yeah, by the way, check out this intro to an anime, and I want you to tell me what you think the show's about. And then like after it was done, she was like, I don't know, like some kind of a fighting like Power Ranger type thing. And I'm like, they are all music stars who are zombies. And she's like, the fuck did you just, what?
Welcome to Japan.
The Nihon motherfucker. Yeah, so anyways, I think that would be really fun if they did that. But of course, you know, who knows what's actually going to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you're thinking, because, like, that's basically, like, extrapolating, like, very, like, specifically from the
intro.
The intro.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be, like, funny if that were the case, because, you know, everyone's trying to, like, dig deeper. It's like, well, you know. And then you're just like, here's the obvious answer. And then it ends up being the obvious answer.
Exactly, right? Well, that's my whole thing, right? Because, I mean, you know, they show the scene of her, like, in the bathroom, just, like, in this weird, dark, dungeony type bathtub. She's fully clothed, and it's just kind of weird. It feels so out of place and so dark. Suddenly, I'm like, oh, man, I'm intrigued by whatever that is. You could tell the show is going to have more depth just based on that one shot. But there's, like, nothing else in the intro that I really see where I'm like, oh, fuck. But I'm sure that, like, after whatever big thing happens, you see the intro again, and you're like, yeah, I see it. I get you now. All right, I see what you did. I don't know what it's going to be, but, like, I'm stoked. So we'll see what happens. Hey, on some other notes, Fairy Tail, y'all know it, y'all love it. The final anime season is going to premiere in Japan on October 7th, and Crunchyroll and Funimation are going to stream with English subtitles. That's going to be pretty cool. So Funimation is going to stream the English dub on October 29th, and it's almost there, man.
It's going, going. I've never watched a single episode of Fairy Tail. I thought about trying it and, like, starting it because they had, like, I don't know, like, a couple seasons on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
But I never tried opening it because, like, once I, like, found out, like, how big it was, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna leave that rock right there.
And there was an Anime Expo panel that I went to, and people were asking, like, oh yeah, who's caught up with this thing and who's caught up with that? And then somebody's like, all right, now who is caught up with Fairy Tail as much as it has been subtitled, like, on this streaming service or whatever? And a bunch of people raised their hands like, okay, nice, cool. Who is caught up with Fairy Tail in the Japanese version? Like, who's all caught up with everything that's aired from Japan? And, like, one dude raises his hand, and I was like, how did he do it? Like, everyone in the room is shocked, and there were just, like, hundreds of people there at this huge anime convention, and just
he just
one
turns
on
guy. His, like, Japanese to English, like, text to talk or whatever, and he's like, he just puts it right next to the speakers, and like, and then they just talk in Japanese, and then he reads it off of his phone.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. I was like, whoa, how has this guy watched like 800 episodes of this goddamn show? It's been going on for so long. It's nuts, but it's almost done. The last season's going to be 51 episodes. It's getting there. We got another year before it's over, but man, it's crazy that they would announce it this early too, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're announcing it this early, and maybe they're like popping out like merch and stuff like that, so then people are gonna buy up merch until then. Hey man, we're almost done, so make sure you don't miss it. Yeah, all that. Cool. So Netflix, we've talked about them before. We're talking about them again. They started streaming a trailer for an anime called Grappler Baki, In Search of Our Strongest Hero. I don't know shit about this, but it looks like some kind of a weightlifting training type dude
who must do some kind of wrestling stuff. That's all that I could assume based off of this. And I think that's interesting that Netflix is trying to take on a show like this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in general they've gone with more sci-fi kind of shows. And this one's a little bit more like, yeah, it's just a guy who's going to wrestle.
Yeah, because like a lot of the ones that they have chosen so far are kind of more adaptable to a general American audience or just like general people. Because, you know, then it's kind of like a more, I don't want to say basic story, but
yeah,
but it's more easily like digestible than watching like a wrestling one or weightlifting or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You already have to be like interested in that style of anime because it's like, okay, Netflix has Glow. That's like a specific kind of wrestling show. Okay. And now they're making an anime. So I feel like people have to already like anime in order to watch this. And it's not people that already like wrestling are going to watch this. It's like, it's definitely the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So interesting choice. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. The visual looks pretty cool.
It looks all right. It's dude holding
his pecs.
Fucking, yeah, big old pecky and ab action
Peckin'
going
abs.
on. But man, that's all the news that I got for this week. So why don't we jump into this week's topic of
The big
Hero
fun.
Mask. So we've talked about the studio before, Studio Pierrot. They've done like every huge fucking anime that's ever existed. So, you know, they've done Bleach, they've done Naruto, they've done Tokyo Ghoul, they've done GTO, which is a pretty big comedy show for those of you that don't know. Black Clover, Boruto, pretty much all that fucking shit.
Big shit.
Big shit. And I don't even know what to say about this.
Was a big shit.
It's this show was
Got
really
it.
something else. So Hero Mask, I hadn't heard of it at all. Had you heard of it? No.
No, because I like asked you. I was like, "Oh, what are you and Juan reviewing this week?" You're like, "Oh, we're watching a show on Netflix called Hero Mask," and I was like, "I didn't even hear about that." I was like,
Of course not, right?
I was like, I didn't see anything on like the anime news sites
No.
that I peruse.
Well,
And
there's
I was
also like Forest Piano. I'd never heard of that. Netflix is like, yeah,
I
I
actually
Forest
heard.
Piano.
I heard about that one a couple of times.
Oh, okay. Well, look at you, Miss Little
on
Pay
my
attention.
new news outlets that has popped up.
Okay, well,
But
Hero
yeah.
Mask, heard fucking nothing
Nothing.
about it. All right, so why don't you give us a rundown of this show? Because I feel like you were able to retain more of it than I was. Because coming out of this show, I just felt like I lost some kind of a giant battle. Okay, I'm going to be up front about this. I watched 9 out of 15 episodes. The first season is 15 episodes long. I could not make it. I made it through 9. If it was a 12-episode season, I probably would have finished it. But I made it through 9, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like halfway there. I can't fucking do it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I gave up.
So basically, what a small summary of what the show's about is basically it opens with this guy who is kind of like a hotshot guy, and he's like what you see in kind of like movies where he does unconventional things to, you know, get his job done or whatever.
Yeah,
he doesn't
sure.
he doesn't always follow the rules, but he, you know, closes all the cases that he has and all that
But
stuff.
damn, is he hot.
Yeah. Hella sexy. And then, so we get introduced to him in this opening scene where he does some unconventional shit against orders or whatever, but he manages to nab these guys that he was supposed to nab. And then we move on to a scene where we see this girl talking to this guy. And then we can obviously tell, like, it's a little bit secret, hush hush, because she's opening an envelope and she's in the backseat of the car. And then drops her off, she goes to leave, and then she gets shoved in a crowd, and then she falls down and dies.
Whoa. Okay, I'm intrigued.
And then this opens up, her death opens up the can of worms that is the rest of the show.
Yep.
Is oh, she didn't die of heart failure. She was murdered. Why was she murdered? And then they just go into all this details like, oh, it's this company because this company was researching this and experimenting on that and fucking with these people and fucking with that people and killing this person, killing that person. And then we get to the end and nothing's resolved.
Nothing at all. Yeah, they just open up a whole bunch of different places to go down. And then we see some guy who's standing on the street corner and he's just muttering, James, 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 James.
Yeah.
And you're like, the fuck's his deal? And then he looks down at this little kiddo and the kid's like, hey, fucking weirdo, I don't like you. And then the fucking weirdo muttering James just stares back,
He goes,
puts his hand over his face. His face changes to another person. The kid's like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I'll check this out. And then he does it like 3 more times. And the kid's like, all right, maybe this isn't so cool. And starts getting creeped out. I'm like,
maybe you're weird.
kid, why the fuck are you like, oh, that's the coolest shit? And then you're like, nah, this ain't cool. He's weird.
He
Just
whack.
like, what the fuck happened that quickly? Not chill. They don't even revisit this kid. It was just like a little second where he's showing off that he could change his face. And
giving you a little peep into what's gonna happen like 10 seconds later.
Right. So then the episode ends and the next episode starts. And then he's up to no good, changing his face, sleuthing around in this police station. Really quickly, it turns into, I'm just going to kill everyone here. And then he fucking does. And no police do shit about it until our main character guy comes around. And then he's just like, I'm going to fucking kill you, guy. And they fight for a while. And he can't kill him because everyone sucks. Apparently, or everyone's the best. It depends. They really just like flip flop with this one.
Yeah, well, like what Kyle was saying, because he was there for like the first 2 episodes, or he was there for the second episode because I had watched one of them while you guys were gone.
Yeah, I think we came back at the very end of the first episode. Yeah,
but like he was saying, he's like, I hate it in animes or just like movies in general where they make the cops like so incompetent. Yeah, because like literally they're trained for this.
Yeah, that's their fucking job.
Yeah, and then instead like there's this guy with a gun out. And then, like, the person that he's holding, like, he kills, but they're still just only pointing the gun at him or whatever. Right. Or he's opening fire, and they're not opening fire back at him. They're just standing there. It's like, in real life, this would not happen. Like, maybe if they were, like, security guards, I would understand. But literally, he walked into a police department.
Yeah. And
there's all
Kyle
police.
was asking, is like, is this taking place in Japan? Like, where's this taking place? And we're like, it's not Japan. I can tell you that much for sure. The main character's name is fucking James. Yeah. And it must be in the UK
Monica
or something.
And Sarah.
Yeah, exactly.
But, well, because, like, I'm not 100%. I think it's supposed to be, like, a mock New York because, like, one of their news channels was Square Times instead of Times Square.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's supposed to be like a version of New York, but not really.
But it's all fucky. Yeah, it's just a fake world, but it's all like Americanized.
Yeah. I don't know, it's weird.
Stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Anyways, Japanese New York.
It was very clear that they didn't have any kind of like gun law restriction type things in this first fucking fight that we get to see. And all of these police that have guns didn't do shit. And that kind of sets the whole tone for the show where it's just like, wow, nobody's doing anything they should be doing. Wait, nobody's doing anything at all. Flash forward to this whole fight scene that takes place in the middle of traffic. And cars are just driving by. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's stopping like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
No one's
like,
even like honking. Like, yeah.
Nothing. No. Just 2 dudes duking it out in between 2 lanes of fast traffic.
Around them.
Holy shit. I was so mad watching that. Just like, are you fucking kidding me? How am I supposed to be convinced that this is a fight? Because like, there's one thing that you could do. You could make it a fun fight and you could just have a fun ass time with it. But instead they were like, no, let's just not really care about it and just have them fight in the middle of traffic. I got so goddamn boosted off of that.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, because like basically, well, you saw this and then basically throughout the entire 15 episodes, it's like basically like they find a clue and that clue leads to like a witness that they could use in order to sue and prosecute the bad corporation that's involved. Oh shit,
okay, we're getting somewhere.
In that same episode, that person dies.
Okay,
or so their evidence gets stolen or...
So, overall, the plot of the show, the pacing, the structure, they all fucking suck. The characters, they all fucking suck. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like anything about this show other than... it looks nice. It's
Yeah.
not a show that I would say like, oh man, you got to see how good the show looks. No, fucking Violet Evergarden takes that cake any day of the week. It's fucking great. Even for like fight shows and stuff, there are better shows out there because this show wants you to watch gunfights. It wants you to watch fist fights. It has all of that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any like great fights. It's overall, it looks good. There's nothing bad about the way it looks, but there is something bad about the pacing of everything. And like, everything feels so ingenuous.
Yeah. And it's literally just a bunch of like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go.
Yeah.
It's not fluid at all. It's just like this really like jig jag like throughout the entire thing.
It sucks because you want to get wrapped in, you want to get sucked in. You're like, oh shit, this is interesting. Where's this gonna go? And then it goes nowhere each time. So you just don't care. Whenever there's something new, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like it's not gonna matter at all. So it gets at the very beginning, talking about that guy who's switching his face a bunch. Big old police fight. Nothing happens at that. He gets shot a couple of times. Then he goes back home. He goes to some fucking mansion. And then he goes there. He's being a psychopath, like painting a painting that's already like pretty creepy. And then he starts like smearing his blood all over it. And it's just like, man, that was already like a pretty creepy painting. Now you're just like making a thing covered in blood and it doesn't look good anymore. It doesn't look creepy at all. It just looks fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So this guy takes care of nothing. He's just being a weirdo for the sake of being a weirdo, being obsessed with James. James comes around and is just like, oh shit, Grim, what the fuck's up, dude? I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna have you tell me all your secrets. Then he finds out he has like a secret mask thing and it's just a piece of paper. And this all very quickly devolves into, yeah, I'm dead, but just so you know, like, I was only a guinea pig. And then he's fucking dead. The first, like, villain we have dies right away.
Yeah. But then, like, that sets up the whole thing, like, oh, you know, then we find out that, like, Grimm supposedly died in jail. But obviously he wasn't dead because then he came out and he was wreaking havoc. And then they find out there's the other list of people that also supposedly died, but maybe some of them actually escaped. And then we find out when we meet another character named Theo that he escaped. And then they marked him as dead. And then, you know, this corporation's hunting him down or whatever in order to cover their tracks. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't just me escaped. There was several of us. But what the weird thing is, like, they said in the show, like, oh, we should find these other people. But then that gets left behind as a new piece of a different, like, side of the puzzle appears.
Right.
And then, like, that part of the story just, like, falls off.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't give a fuck about those people anymore because there's this new information. Which still, them escaping, they're clearly bad people out in the world doing bad things. Why don't we just, you know, still address them a little bit? Like, all right, we need some people on this one, but we also need people on this new thing. So they just wanted to do too many things with this show, but didn't have any reason to want to do so much. You could have a more simple plot and you could have done a lot more, or you could have that complicated plot, but you need to have complicated characters and you need to have a lot of characters in order to take care of that and establish it. This is, they wanted to take on a larger show on a smaller scale. And they also wanted to take on a really simple plot at a larger scale.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do two things that were completely opposing each other. And it really, really showed. It was super irritating.
Yeah, because, like, I was telling you, I was like, because, like, the plot of the show and the way it was, like, the way it was designed, like, it's very much like our, like, American, like, crime shows that we have.
Sure, yeah.
And I was telling you, like, a lot of our crime shows that we have, when they have, like, stories like this, like, maybe sometimes it's, like, a 2-parter episode or whatever. And I was like, that's what they should have done with this. It should have been maybe, like, 2 or 3 episodes, and then it just could have been, like, one action-packed arc within a season or whatever, within the 15 episodes. And they should have done whatever they planned for the second season. They should have done that for the next part.
Right. Like, look at Sherlock, for example.
Yeah.
We have some amazing little arcs, and then we're like, oh, fuck, there's so much more to this. Well, I'm glad that we wrapped up that bit. And instead of wrapping up each bit and it unveiling, like, a bigger fucking situation. It was just like
a mess.
So we got this thing over here, but now there's new shit. So let's follow that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, what about that thing over there? And it's just like a kid playing with toys.
Yeah. I literally was about to say that. I was like,
just leaving his shit on different parts of the room. Like, hey, dude, clean that shit up.
Entire toy box all over the floor.
Exactly. It's like, okay, man, you could play with your toys, but don't fucking do this. Play with each one at a time. Put it away when you're done with it. It felt like it was some amateur hour bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. The intro, by the way, fucking sucks. It started out and I was like,
very vanilla.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of into it. It's all right. You know, it had some really good looking animation, pretty interesting artistic takes on things for the first like 30 seconds, and then I'm like, oh, we're just gonna repeat the same thing over and over and over. And also the song is pretty boring and like nothing really felt like it was coming to a point.
I feel like they were like trying to like mimic like Marvel openings.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I feel that.
The way they like, it was kind of like, you know, like kind of, because like on the Marvel openings, they kind of have it like one color, maybe like two colors, something like that. And then it's literally just like switching from one thing to another, like really slowly. And I think that's what they were trying to like emulate.
Sure. Or, you know, it's just following like a scene. Like there's some intros of things where it has like, or like an intro to a movie, it'll show you like a little piece of a scene. You'll see like a bullet, and then you're like following, where's that bullet lead to, and then it leads to a gun, and then it's like, okay, what was that gun pointing at, and then it leads to another guy, and then you like see, okay, what was that guy like trying to do, and then it leads to some other situation. You just like follow the whole scene, but instead of having all these interesting points, it's just like, all right, we have this white block, and then it's gonna roll out into a white shape, and then that shape's gonna point out a bunch of little shapes, and then it's gonna go into a big shape again, and then it's gonna turn into an even bigger shape, and it just goes in a loop.
Instead of a bunch of like origami shit, they should have like had like what she said, like, you know how, well, like eventually the Sarah girl, she like, you know, does the, you know, stereotypical board, and she starts connecting the pieces, and the strings and stuff like that. They should have had that be their opening and whatever. And then, you know, instead of having like the characters' names, they had like the cast names or whatever.
Yeah, it would have been
just
way
like other
better.
shows.
But instead it was just like 01.
Here's white, and here's
02.
a little a flip of the
03.
papers. Flip of the paper.
04.
Flip of the paper.
05. It was so fucking tedious. So skipping that shit like right the fuck away in every episode. The outro literally didn't matter. I feel like that's an issue that Netflix shows have. They don't realize that the outro could be a fucking jam time. It could be like a fun little character scene that's not a part of the show at all, but it could be a fun little extra thing. They don't understand that, so they're just like, and roll credits. Like, hold up, guys.
Black and white lettering.
It's like, okay, skip, because I don't want to listen to this song, and I don't give a fuck about any of the people that made this because it sucks. Like, I'm sorry. Continue on. So, just overall, the show feels like it lacks in every single field. The reason that we haven't told you what the plot is because there isn't really a solid plot. It's not defined. It's very much like, here's the situation. Somebody has like some kind of a magic mask. And it's like, okay, we have to find the people that made the magic mask. And also like, oh, this situation's going on. And it just develops into all these different small situations that have no real solid connection either. It's just like, oh, here's some new shit that suddenly somebody's saying. It never feels like, oh my god, there's more to this?
Well, yeah, and then, like, you know, there's, like, just talking about it, there's really no way to, like, spoil it because it's all really vague anyways to begin with. There's not a lot of detail.
Not at all.
And so, because of that, it's just a really bland show. And, like, when, you know, like, at the very last episode, when there's like the part where you're supposed to go like, it's just like, whatever.
Okay, that's fine. Who cares?
Like, oh, spoiler alert if you're gonna watch this
later. So what
later.
fucking happened, Sierra? What happened at the end of the show?
So at the end of the show, the guy, his name is, I believe it's supposed to be Steven. I think that was his name. Anyway, so he was the guy that like headed up LiveCorp. But, surprise, it's not really Steven. It's some guy who put on one of those origami mask things and took his identity, so we don't know who he is. But then he went to escape the cops and flee, and then someone blew up his plane. And is he alive? Is he dead? We don't know.
Who gives a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
They never really show the reason that they made these masks. They're just like, oh, they're experimental and they're pretty fucked up, but like also they're not if we don't want them to be.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're gonna eventually like help people because like the guy who originally started making them, he, how like in like G.I. Joe and all that stuff, they have like the little nanobots.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're kind of like doing with this.
Yeah, it's kind of like skin grafts,
Yeah.
but it's with a piece of magic paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like magic paper that's supposed to like help heal people, make people into like superhumans and then super soldiers and heal people who have cancer and stuff like that. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. And that's the whole plot of the show, essentially.
And then it's like people, who want to use it for good, people who want to use it for bad. And then all their convoluted mixed up shit. The people who want to use it for good try to rat out the people who are doing it for bad, but then all the good people die, and then we don't get anywhere closer to catching the bad guys, and we don't even know who the real bad guy is, or really what their intention is, or what their end goal is, or what are they even planning on doing next, because whatever.
It sucks. So 2 things that I want to talk about before I don't have anything else to say about this show. I felt like the strongest points that they had were there was a small plot line about this character who he cared a lot about his family, but he couldn't be with them at the time.
Theolo.
He happened upon some of this fucking magic paper face mask shit. And he started using it and was like, oh man, this is cool. This is interesting. And some dude's trying to snipe him and stuff. And he's just like thinking about his family. Like, oh, fuck, I miss my family. I want to like be the best dad that I can be. And I miss my wife and all that shit. And then he wound up like aging super fast because of the mask stuff. And then his family just went away in front of him. He found him in a park. And all this fucking memory stuff that he was having, it all came to life, and he was just old as fuck, seeing his family and having a good time, and then he died like right in front of them. But of course they didn't realize it was him, or that he was the old man, or that he died, or any of that shit. Also, his daughter was like such a fucking boring piece of shit.
Yeah.
She didn't matter at all, but that was the strongest plot point I felt like they had, where they were trying to make us connect to these characters and stuff. That was the only point that I felt like I genuinely connected in any little way to any character, because everything else just feels like it's, oh man, like, and then we'll make this cool guy do this cool thing, but oh shit, the bad guy got away, and now the bad guy's dead, so now the good guy has nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's only 3 points in the show where they tried to like connect the audience emotionally with it.
Yeah.
And that was like, I believe that was the first one.
Yeah.
The second one was, well, I mean, I think it happened. Did it happen right before Theo, or did it happen right after Theo? I'm not sure. But anyway, so like the assassin dude who tried to kill Theo, the reason why he became assassin was in order to eventually like basically pay for this research into basically healing or trying to get a cure for the girl who had this random who knows what kind of illness. She's just sick and she's in the hospital and he's trying to pay for it. So,
which honestly, like, oh shit, somebody that I care about is sick, I'm gonna kill other people. Like, that's not, I can't care about you, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty fucking shitty.
So that was like one way, and then Theo was another one, and the third one was like the head boss of the, I think, SSC, basically the police headquarters, the head guy there, I guess. And this is the way they kind of like, they tried to like close a loop.
Okay.
In that, like the head guy's wife was like a bank teller or whatever. It was their like 20-year anniversary or something like that. I don't even know. I can't remember. Or no, she died 20 years ago.
Classic.
But, so it was like a flashback. So she died 20 years ago, and then it was showing it, and she was a bank teller, and it was their anniversary, and it was his day off, but she like went to work, and then when she was at work, there was a bank robbery, and the robbers got paid to go there and to rob a single, what are those things called in the vault? Not a drawer. What are they called?
Safe?
It's not a safe. safety deposit box. That's what it's
All
called.
right.
Safety deposit box. They were going in there to steal one safety deposit box, and all that there was in there was one accounting ledger
Oh, shit.
that was gonna bust, that could potentially
The big news.
bust the live corp or whatever.
Oh, no.
But this is a flashback, so nobody knew that that's what the incident was at the time. And so, like, when this happened, like, the robbers, like, oh, everyone put your cell phones in this box or whatever. And then so the wife, like, ended up calling her husband and then putting her phone in the thing so that, when they're like, everyone put your hands up and you'll get out of this alive. So he hears that. So he calls the cops and everyone's rushing there and he's driving there, whatever. And basically, like, all the robbers, like, jump in the van, get ready to flee. And then they all get caught. And then it ends up there was a bomb in one of the bags that the guys were supposed to bring into the van. So basically all of the robbers were supposed to die.
Okay, yeah.
So that, and the ledger was also supposed to explode and blow up and there was no evidence. That's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But what happened instead was one of the robbers got left behind. And while the rest left because he was taking too long, because one of the security guards at the bank, like, grabbed his leg and tripped him, whatever. And then the bomb was in that bag. And so, like, when she was on the phone talking to her husband, like, oh, I'm rattled and I was a little bit scared, but I love you. And, happy anniversary. After she says happy anniversary, then the bomb goes off in the bag and she dies, explodes the bank or whatever. And a lot of people die. And then we find out that it was the head guy at Live Corp, the one that issued the order, but there's no evidence to prove it. But, they're yelling at him anyway, saying, we're going to get you eventually. And they're like, don't go anywhere. And then that's when he, like, jumps on the plane and tries to escape. And then bomb goes off in his airplane. And we don't know if he's alive or dead because no body was found. So that was the third and final part they tried to connect with us. We're like, oh no, this guy's wife died because of this company.
Oh no, who cares?
Yeah, so.
I honestly couldn't give a fuck about any character. It was so hard for me to care about any of it. And I think that one of the larger reasons behind it is the editing and the choices that they used. They stretched everything out.
Yeah.
A lot of people
staring.
If you know fucking anything about film and video and recording and all that shit, there's a really, really easy rule to follow, which is don't have shots longer than 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
You can't do that unless there's a lot of action. There needs to be a lot of good action in that time in order to do it. Or you could do it for artistic purposes or something. But it really needs to have some power behind it if you're going to take a risk.
It needs
having
to be
a shot
purposeful.
Long in that. Yeah, you need to have a
and
lot
not
of
just
good dialogue.
Like a filler.
Exactly. So we see both ends of this spectrum in the show. First thing I notice is there's a shot of the back of a dude for like 8 seconds. It switches to his hand. It's just in a fist for another 5. He clinches it for about 3 seconds.
Got the action
goes to his
in there.
face. He's looking really serious. And then after like another few seconds, he goes like, and then it's just like, dude, that was like 20 minutes of fucking nothing happening.
Yeah.
And then some other guy says some shit. And what the fuck was the point of that? And then we have other scenes that are these really quick fight scenes. But instead of having these shots of like, oh man, look at this action. Like it looks really good and it's fluid. And we get to see like the large scene. Instead it's like, all right, here's a close-up of somebody like spinning around a gun really quick. And it was like half a second long. I'm like, okay, you can't do that in this kind of animation, man. If you're going to take the time to put that effort in there, we need to actually see it in the full scene. You can't do a jump cut to this and then jump on back to the battle. I don't want to see a quick close-up of something unless it's going to be like a couple of seconds long. You could change the shot in that. But they just didn't understand how that part of it worked. I feel like overall, Studio Pierrot has some incredible animation in this show. Everything looks stylized, like really good. It all fits the world really well. But then it must have been like the episode directors or something just kind of fucking with it and being like, all right, we'll do a really long shot here for some goddamn reason. This fight scene needs to be quick. I don't want any shot longer than 2 seconds. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's so fucking back and forth. I don't know what was going on.
Maybe they're like, Netflix bought this. We'll just give him a piece of shit.
Right? I don't know, man. Because it's animators fucking killing it. And then it's editors destroying the show.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and then like I told you, like I watched the first 2 episodes subbed, and then I watched the rest dubbed because then it's just easier.
It just wasn't worth it. It was way too hard. Yeah.
And I was telling you also that like I think that the voices for the dubbed, they didn't like. I don't think
they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. I don't think they necessarily like fit like anime, but they were fine. They weren't like horrible, but they felt just like slightly out of place and a little bit like weird for, I don't know.
And I just watched it subbed, and I don't have anything good or bad to say about that. It was all fine. Whatever. Show sucked. Don't recommend it to anybody. It was just a terrible, terrible time. You said you liked it more than Aiko. I think I agree with that, but like just barely, man. They both suck. At least Aiko had an interesting kind of world, but then it just like it was too focused on one thing, and it all wound up being like really bland in the end.
Yeah.
This had so much going on, and it didn't need to have any of it going on. It would have been better. Aiko had a lot going on in a small area, so different parts of it were done well, but none of it was done well enough.
Yeah.
Don't watch Hero Mask.
No, definitely not.
Do you have anything more you want to say?
Well, because you didn't finish it, I am glad that there won't be any reviews of season 2 that will probably end up coming out, which means I won't have to fill in for Juan again unless you manage, unless you guys
hey, guess what? I watched 6 more episodes and then I watched a whole second season.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not going to happen. So, all right. Well, I want to just give a big thanks to Erin from TurvyTops.com. She does our logo art. She's pretty great. Check out her shit. A big shout out to Tom Nasser, who does our intro song. His name is Tom Nasser. That's Nasr. You can find him on SoundCloud and Facebook, YouTube, all these different places. He posts music sometimes. And then, Cierra, where can you find us?
You can find us on Facebook, the Instant Ramen Podcast. On Instagram, also the Instant Ramen Podcast.
Cierra runs that, so that's cool.
You can find us on Twitter at Instant Ramen Pod.
A podcast didn't fit.
And then you can email us at instantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. And then you can listen to us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube,
Google Play, Facebook. We're fucking everywhere. Wherever you want to listen to us, we're there. Like, we're on your Zonga.
We're with
it doesn't
everywhere.
matter. We're in your notes. We're in your address book.
We're in your ass pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Just, whatever. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to us this week. Please don't watch Hero Mask. I really urge you just to not do it. If you do watch it, like, to spite us, that's on you, man. That's on fucking you. And I don't give a shit if you do. So that's fuck you for doing it, first off, just because you shouldn't suffer like we did. We suffered so you didn't have to.
Suffer for the craft.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. This is bye from Chris.
And see you whenever I see you from Cierra.
Cierra, don't forget.
Just add hot water.